Iranian women's tragic and appalling predicament under the Mullahs' rule. Whereas misogynistic laws and practices are prevalent everywhere around the world, in Iran, under Mullahs, misogyny is part and parcel of has been elevated to state policy since the theocracy took power. Consequently, the plight of Iranian women deteriorated significantly in the past 4 decades. Iran is still among the very few places in the world where honor killing is routine. On February 7, 2022, Sajjad Heydari ruthlessly decapitated his 17-year-old wife Mona and paraded her severed head in a main square and marched in Kasavir Square in Ahvaz, southeast Iran. Mona was only 12 when forced to marry her cousin. In May 2020, Romina, 14, was killed by her father for running away. The regime's laws encourage these heinous crimes by making it permissible to commit honor killings. Under Article 301 of the regime's Penal Code, father will not be punished, but will only be fined for such murders. Every year in Iran, an average of 450 women are victims of honor killing and domestic murders by their husbands, fathers, or brothers. The Women's Security Bill has been the subject of controversy for 11 years. But since 2009 has never been approved, adopted, or implemented. A decade of foot-dragging delay in adopting any bill to protect women against violence has placed Iran on the top of the list of countries with highest records of domestic violence against women. At least 66% of Iranian women experience domestic violence in their lifetime, and there are no safe homes in Iran today. The head of the forensic medicine organization, Ahvaz Mujahedin-e-Khalq, announced that 85,420 women had suffered spousal abuse in 2019. The Iranian regime is the world's record holder of the executor of women. Since 2013, on average, 15 women have been executed in Iran every year. The horrific example was the case of Zahra Esmaili, 42, who was hanged in February 2021 at Gohardasht prison, suffered a stroke while witnessing the hanging of 16 others before her. She died even before reaching the gallows, but prison officials had hanged her lifeless body anyway. A 33-year-old mother of a 4-year-old child was sentenced to stoning on bogus charges of having illicit relations with a man. Her sentence was later changed to execution. Child marriage is one of the most evident examples of violence against women. Still, child marriage is encouraged under the rule of the mullahs in Iran. Ali Kazemi, a legal advisor to the clerical regime's judiciary, had previously acknowledged that an average of 500,000 to 600,000 Iranian girls under the age of 14 get married every year. Child marriage in Iran is not a cultural issue. It has become a social catastrophe due to the policies of the mullahs regime, who encourage such a misogynistic practice. Iranian women cannot choose their attire. The Iranian regime has actually established moral police which harass improperly veiled women in public. Iran's society's response. Miserable plight of women in Iran, however, has further motivated them to become more active in protests and defy the regime, in some cases playing the lead role. The widespread participation of Iranian women in recent protests and uprising attests to this reality. Women's active participation in protests nationwide has made it clear that they are a force for change. Female teachers, nurses, pensioners, farmers, family members of victims who were killed by the regime during uprisings protest in every corner of Iran every day. One of the most stunning moments of Iran's contemporary history emerged on November 15, 2019, reflecting the volatile state of society. The protests rapidly spread to more than 200 cities in 29 provinces in just a few days, with anti-regime chants targeting the mullahs' supreme leader, Ali Khamenei. Even the state-run media acknowledged the Iranian women's remarkable role as vanguards and leaders of the uprising.